Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another Referrals Legends video. Guys, this one will be a Maneater and Demytha Unkillable team plus 3 DPS. The DPS can be anything you want. The Maneater Demytha is very strict. If you cannot get to the speed for Maneater to be at a 5:3 ratio, which is 286, very fast, then I guess you can close this video because this is a very high speed requirement team. Obviously, with some other combinations of champions with a speed lead, you can change things around. Okay, this is not strict kind of combo, but if you put an aura in there, then you have to change the speeds of everybody. If you put a speed booster, then this is totally different team. You have to do totally different thing. This is strictly Maneater Demytha plus 3 DPS, not speed boosters, not speed aura, 3 DPS. Okay, Maneater is a very strict with his aura 286. No up, no down, 286. That's it. And let's go over and see the custom AI that I have for the Ultra Nightmare setup. So Geomancer opens up with the HP burn. Demytha needs to open up with the A1, then go with the A2, and then A3 as her third skill in the rotation, so that you ensure she always does it before the turn 1 AoE. Maneater opens up with his A2, then follows up with Ancient Blood Forever for throughout the fight basically, and ensures the team is unkillable. Vizier of Elis, basically you block everything out except this A1. This poor guy is an A1 bot. He's not even booked, but I have him in a retaliation set. His speed is 160, which is very slow compared to the 286. 160 is very slow, but you can go up and down to this, and it works both on Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. I'll explain the speed variations for Vizier at least, and then Farrakhan the Fat. Also, there's some speed up and down that you can do, and you're open to do anything with that. So I have my Farrakhan the Fat go first with his A1 here, and then go with the beatdown. This is not strict or anything. It's just because I have got Geomancer. I don't want him to go in there with HP burn and then have Vizier extend his HP burn and not Geomancer's HP burn. So this way I lose out a little bit of damage on the first couple of turns, but I pretty much ensure that Geomancer gets the HP burn down, and this is extended by Vizier and not Farrakhan the Fat's HP burn. The strict Terminator order is Maneater and Demytha here, pretty much. And this is how the team works on Ultra Nightmare. The rest of the showcase, guys, will be on Nightmare because it's very much different than the Ultra Nightmare team. The Ultra Nightmare team, you click and go, and that's it. You don't need to worry about it until the end when you see the damage and you see, okay, I need to do 1 more key or I need to do 2 more keys. I've done that already, and there's the team damage right there, 39.34 million. Let's go over to the Nightmare setup though. The Nightmare setup though, it's different, and that's why I'll be showcasing that. So Nightmare setup, you click here, the custom AI for Nightmare. The custom AI for Nightmare is obviously there just to ensure that my Vizier works as he's supposed to, not do his A2 or A3, which are annoying. And Maneater basically has to have his Ancient Blood as a thing that he'll always do, but this is not a click and go team. Demytha also can click and go basically, but because we have to do something custom for Maneater, we have to ensure that we manually set up the team first. And then Farrakhan the Fat, I have him start out with his A2. Again, I can probably change this and have him start out with his A1, then have him do his ally attack, and then let that HP burn go, just in case we have some issues in terms of the HP burn extension. So let's save this, and this will be the team that goes into Nightmare. I'll show you guys the exact rotation, but let's first go and see the gear. The gear is very much required because if you see here, and I'll have the links down below in the comments for the teams, okay? This one is the version for Nightmare. You see here on the top it says Nightmare. This is the team on Nightmare. It works perfectly. I'll give you guys the link so you guys can see and then change things as you want to in terms of the DPS here on the left, or see what kind of rotation is going. If you go down the list, you'll see that always the rotation follows as block damage and then Maneater, but then Farrakhan the Fat is unprotected for this turn right here. So he loses out on both the Unkillable and the block debuff for the stun. So what we need to do is ensure that he does not get stunned. You can either do that by ensuring that on Affinity, on Nightmare, he's always strong Affinity, so that he won't get the stun. But still, if he's low on health, he might get the stun. So what I've done is I've used him in a lifesteal set, and that's going to help for sure not get the stun on him. But there might be an issue in terms of when he's weak affinity. So if you're fighting magic, you might get the stun on Farrak in the Fat. I could not test it for this video, but he always ends up with 100% health throughout my testing so far with the lifesteal set. So that might be enough for the boss, even on magic, to not target Farrak in the Fat because of the difference in HP for all the champions. If he's 100%, somebody else is 15%, then he's going to target the 15% champion instead, even if the affinity is strong against him. So magic targeting Geomancer or Vizier, that can still happen, guys. But the difference must be there. The difference must be very big, almost twice the amount of health in terms of difference. So if the champion has an effective health of about 10,000 after the hits, your 100% HP champion must be at about 25,000 or 30,000 even for this to work. And I'm not saying exact figures here, but there needs to be an exact difference that's noticeable there for the boss to not go for the weak target. So this is the team on Nightmare. This is the team on Ultra Nightmare. If you want to go up and down in speeds, it's tricky because when you click on up here on the speeds, 287, it breaks Maneater. 286, it works both on Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. You cannot go up or down. You have to make sure that your speeds right here are pretty much exact. I have one speed set here on the Maneater in this team that I've built. So this one is still a 286 Maneater because it's 285.75. But if I didn't have that 286 exact, then this team would break. That's why he's so strict in terms of his speed. The same thing for Demytha in order for it to work on both difficulties, and the same thing for Geomancer, who's at a 179. That's how he works on both difficulties as well. And that's the run pretty much. For Farrak the Fat, in order for this to work on both difficulties, you can go a little bit up, a little bit down. You see here the 230. We need to ensure that he stays here right after Maneater, and that's how you know the setup is as advertised. So you can go between the ranges. I have them written down as well. I think 224 still works. 223, you see it breaks. It breaks. So on turn whatever, it breaks. So you need to be at least 224, and then you can go all the way to 230 without it breaking. If you go 231, then it breaks. You have to make sure though, guys, that your gear, your speed sets, your perception doesn't change this. So when you click on the speed settings here, ensure that the sets have either one perception, one speed, or two speed. There's all the variations, different combinations that you can have. They're there. So make sure that that is the thing. 179 on Geomancer, as I said. And Vizier of Elis, the slowest champion of the team. He can be any DPS. He can be at 160. But he can go all the way to 169 for this thing to work on both Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. On Nightmare, it breaks with 170. On Ultra Nightmare, it doesn't break with 170. So go 169. You can still go on Ultra Nightmare with 169, and it's still gonna work just fine. Okay, you see, I've increased the speed right there. You might not see, let's see, because I have my big head there, but it still works. So, as I said, 224 to 230 on the 4-3 DPS, and the Vizier can be between 160 to 169. Okay, and that's the team. I'll have the links down for both, and I'll show you guys the exact speeds that I had so you don't confuse yourself. So 224, and then I'll use these links down below in the description, in the comments, so you guys can see the exact team. So we'll do the showcase. I'll quickly show the gear just to have an idea of what kind of gear I have. But as I said, the speeds are strict. Here's Vizier of Elis. Retaliation works great on this guy because it has that chance, 35% chance to counterattack when hit. When he counterattacks, it's basically an additional A1 default skill. So you have more chances to extend the duration of those debuffs. He's not even booked, but this works just fine to extend throughout the fight those debuffs. I have him even in a counterattack defensive tree here, so he can get also that chance to counterattack as well. So that's it for Vizier. War Master works okay. The gear is not even leveled up, but it's on a 160 speed, 66% crit rate. You'll get a boost from Farrak the Fat if you have him in the team, so you can even get it to 70%. Demytha will be extending those buffs, so you'll probably manage to get the buffs extended throughout the fight, and have it available so you can stay at around 70% crit and try your DPS on your other champions. So next up is let's go Demytha. Demytha is booked, of course, by the way. She needs to be booked for this. 3 turns cooldown on each of her skills. Went War Master plus the counterattack, very much the same masteries. No speed gear or perception gear on her at all. 171 strict, 43% crit rate, 112 crit damage. So I didn't go too heavy on her damage because it's Demytha. She doesn't have like big multipliers. She's got 2 support skills. She only will be hitting with her A1. So any damage gear, it's a waste. You better have more damage gear on your Geomancer or your 4-3 champion or your Vizier than Demytha, honestly. That's what I've found. But if you want to get that little bit of damage going, then might as well go ahead and build her with damage. But that's not what I did. Maneater. You can of course get damage. He hits very hard, but it was very difficult for me to get the speeds here for this account. So I did a 286 strict speed for this guy. No accuracy if you can, so he doesn't land the attack down, but if he does, then probably Vizier will extend it with my luck. 1 speed set here, but 286 is strict. Masteries are the same as before, as the other 3 champion showcase so far. Then Farrakhan the Fat, I have him with the sniper skill plus the Master Hexer. Master Hexer might have been a mistake, to be honest. Here, because I also have Geomancer, he if he gets a 3-turn HP burn, it kind of causes issues. That's why I've changed the custom AI at the start of the video. In order to accommodate for that, I didn't want to waste any more gems. But that's how he works. As I said, 224 to 230 works. I have him at 100% crit because if I remember correctly, he does not buff himself. So you're gonna need the 100% crit on him if you want to get some damage going. And then finally, Geomancer does have some solid damage. He's at an 81% crit, 235 crit damage, 277 accuracy, 3.4k attack. I know I could have gone a little bit higher on that, but that's it for now. And 179 speed, that's strict. And of course, masteries. Master Hexer is great on this guy. And also, I went Grim Resolve on pretty much everyone because they'll be going to the Unkillable range of health, which is 1%. And they get the benefit from this one instead of this one for the very few beginning of the rounds, I guess, which they're healing. And this is the gear. This is the team. Let's see the Nightmare setup right now. All right, guys, let's go and test out the Nightmare team. I had to actually reset because my Geomancer got resisted on turn 1 and it messes up the round. That's what you need to worry with Geomancer and having another HP burn champion in there. So let's go and I'll show you the custom AI for this. But remember, Geomancer must land his HP burn. That's the very important thing if you got a Vizier in there, because Vizier is what makes this team work so well. But it's not required. Not required. It's a 3 DPS team, so it's not required. Let's just go with an A1 here, so I can land a defense down. Let's go Geomancer. We get the HP burn going, and now you can actually go with the block damage with the Demytha. There it is. There's the counterattack from the retaliation set. We got an extension, I think, there. Let's try and get another extension going. Nope. So Maneater has to use his Unkillable on the following turn. So A1 here. And he'll get another turn before the boss does anything. So let's go with the ally attack. Hopefully Vizier will extend something here. There's the HP Bear extended. Let's go with A2 here. And then Maneater. And that's it for the AI. And then you can press auto after this. And it's going to work just fine. So let's click auto. There's the counterattack from Vizier. He didn't extend there. Oh, there's the extension. Okay. Yeah. Let's keep this going and we'll see how this run ends up. By the way, guys, if you enjoy the music played throughout this video, it's soundstripe.com. Soundstripe offers a 15% discount for you guys if you use the promo code coldbrew with one word. You help support me by just going out, checking out this awesome music, and also benefiting from that discount that I offer through my promo code. Thank you, guys. So this team should work just fine for the remaining of the fight. We must ensure that the HP burn through Geomancer is extended instead. It's looking like it's going well. Turn count 4. Let's just have a look on how the stun works. So remember, we have a lifesteal set on Farrakhan the Fat, and this is what causing him to be at 100% health when the stun happens. He's unprotected when the stun happens. So he doesn't have, not yet, but he won't have that unkillable buff in that block debuffs buff from Maneater, because he will be the last champion to go after Maneater. So you'll see what exactly I mean once this run gets going a little bit and the damage becomes even higher. So everybody will be low health. They'll get some heals through Demytha, which also helps the run because they're not at 0% health technically. They're a little bit higher than that, but also Farrakhan has the life steal set and he's the only one that has it. You cannot use the life steal set if you have only him with the life drinker mastery, but that's a lot of gems moving around. Gear, if you can get it, his speed with the lifesteal gear that you might have available, then it's great and it's gonna work. So far it's looking like we're slowly stacking up our debuffs. We've got defense down, we've got some HP burns. Vizier is just trying there to extend that HP burn and keep it going, which is great. We're at about turn count 10 with 7-8 million damage. That's gonna go even higher, and you'll see once Farrakhan gets another turn that he'll lose the buff. And there it is, he lost the buff, and the stun is gonna go on somebody, and it's not Farrakhan the Fan because he's at 100% health. There's so many more targets for the boss to go on, and he chooses somebody else instead of Farrakhan the Fan. And this is how it works on Nightmare. This team works on both Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare, as I explained. Ultra Nightmare is much easier than Nightmare. Enjoy the rest of the run, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys soon. See ya.